What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today and I hope it gets even better for watching this video. Today we're chatting all about the tips and tricks, little small micro habits you can implement to stop shopping addiction, to stop compulsive buying, overspending, and just become more intentional about where your hard-earned money goes. Most of us work really hard for our money, so it's such a shame to then just carelessly spend it on things that aren't really meaningful, things that you don't need, and things that at some point, like after maybe a few weeks, you don't even want anymore. Becoming more conscious and intentional about where your money goes not only obviously positively affects your financial situation, your financial future, but it also makes you feel like you're living a more intentional life. And it's honestly liberating to not be in this constant buying consumerism trap. It feels like a hamster wheel. It's never enough. You keep buying and keep buying. There's always a new thing and a new thing that you need and want. You're just never satisfied. It's not a good plan for a long-term happy future, a satisfied future. Like, it's obviously not getting you there if you constantly need to buy and buy and buy to fill that craving or that void or whatever it is. We'll get into that. And it's honestly so empowering to get out of that hamster wheel and use that time, money, and energy on actually building a life that's meaningful to you, that you're excited and happy to wake up to, instead of waking up to a bunch of stuff that's just been collecting dust. So yeah, that's what we're chatting about today. I have over 10 tips that really helped me, because I've definitely experienced this before. Like, this was kind of a semi-big issue in my life, if you will, and I've got a plan to get you out of there as well. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Nika, welcome. I make videos all about self-improvement and I like to make them very actionable. Here are the tips, concrete steps you can take to actually create a real change that you're really going to notice. So if that works for you, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. And you can also check out my social media if you want to hang out with me more. But that's enough yapping. Let's get into all the tips and tricks. The first thing we need to do is become very aware of what the problem is in the first place. We want to get as much information about it as possible so we can then actually tackle it. One thing I really recommend doing is a spending audit. This is where you would go back and see where your money is going, how much of it is going towards different areas of your life. I talked all about this in my last video, so if you want to do this properly, create a budget and really start tracking your spending, I highly recommend checking that out. And then you're going to highlight these pain points. For me, that was eating out, and then also shopping for clothes and beauty, like makeup, skincare, all of that. So just write it down so you know what you're working with. And then you're going to investigate when you have this really strong need to buy something, to compulsively shop, to overspend. For me, for example, I noticed that a lot of it came from boredom. When I felt like things were stagnant and there wasn't enough excitement in my life. So that's when I would really get into this mood of I need to have a whole new closet. I need to have this new thing, that new thing, just because it gave me that hit of excitement. It's so helpful to write it down. First of all, an awareness of a problem is a problem half solved. Just having this awareness of I have a strong need for shopping right now. Do I actually want to buy a whole new closet, or am I just bored with my life and missing excitement? If it's that, then maybe I can, call up a friend and do something fun with them, or, you find other ways to deal with it. An amazing question you can ask yourself when you're trying to figure this out is, if I'm being honest with myself right now, what problem in my life am I trying to solve by overbuying, consumption, shopping, fill in the blank? Another thing we really need to look at is your values. What is actually important to you? It's not that instant gratification. These are the things that actually create a long-term satisfaction, joy, happiness, whatever. And also, how do you want your money and time to serve you? We are all different, so it's important to consider those things. A budget and becoming financially aware is not about cutting yourself off from all the joys of life. It's just about creating a plan tailored to you of how you're going to spend your hard-earned money. For me, I've really realized that I want to spend my hard-earned money on experiences versus things. I want to create lifetime memories with the people that I love, experience this beautiful world, things that will actually bring me, again, long-lasting happiness, instead of things that, make me happy in the moment when I buy them and maybe for a day or two, and then will just, most of them, collect dust or be pushed somewhere in my closet and forgotten about. And also, a really big one for me is investing in myself, going to those Pilates classes that, they cost a bit of money, but it's worth it to me. And also learning about myself, learning more about the things that I'm interested in. That is a very worthy investment for me. One of my favorite platforms you can do this on is Skillshare, and they're actually sponsoring this video. Plus, they've given us an amazing deal, which is fitting for this video. Recently, I've been wanting to learn more about like the very intricate details of Notion because I want to make like an amazing budget that we can all use that I can share with you guys. So I've actually been rewatching Ali Abdaal's class. It's called Notion Masterclass, Maximize Your Productivity and Organization. And it's honestly so good. It covers everything. So if you're interested in Notion or if you want to get better at it, amazing. In case you don't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives. They have thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, productivity, freelance, and more. So Skillshare can help you take your career, your skills, your hobbies, passions, and even side hustles to the next level. I personally have a bit more time in the summer, so it's an amazing way for me to learn something new. I've been getting into drawing and like sketching, so I've been watching some classes about that. But if you guys want to use this time to get super knowledgeable about finance and change your financial future, an amazing class that you can get started with is by Justin Bridges. It's called Modern Money Habits, 5 Steps to Build the Life You Want. And it really goes through all the basics and gives you an amazing financial foundation. So the first 500 people who click on my link below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, which is amazing. So you can really fully try it out and you can get started today. So I'll have that down below. Another amazing thing that can really help you get started is to have a little reset, because you've probably had these spending habits for a long time. So sometimes a good reset can really make wonders, create wonders. I don't know. So one thing you can do that will very clearly show you your habits and tendencies and these needs to buy and spend is a low or a no spend month. So that means you'll have a month where you only spend money on absolute essentials. So that means groceries, that means, your electric bills, your rent, essentials. So you're not going to be spending money on clothes, shopping, beauty, books, whatever. You can of course make this tailored to you. It doesn't have to be a full no buy month. You should make it so that you can stick to it. So if you know that you'll run out of your conditioner, you can plan that into your low buy month. Or let's say you read a lot of books on your Kindle and you know that you'll probably download 4, just plan that into it so that you can actually follow through, because that's going to give you a lot of confidence and it's going to make you feel good to achieve something. And doing this low buy or no buy month is going to help you so much, again, to see these habits and to have a little reset, and then you can create a new plan for the future. Another thing that really helped me is a reset of my stuff, like doing a big declutter. I had so many clothes lying around. I cannot tell you the amount of bags of clothes that I had to get rid of, and skincare and expired makeup and so many things. And it was such a wake-up call because I could see roughly how much money that was. It was like throwing money away, like just goodbye, it's meaningless, who cares? And it was wild. Like there was thousands of euros in those boxes and it hurt my soul. And these were things that I was so excited about. And now a few months later, I'm just throwing them away. I donated them, but you know what I mean? Like it just was wild. So that's another thing you can do. And again, it will also help you to see what you actually find meaningful and important. Obviously, I don't value most clothes that much if I'm just willy-nilly getting rid of them all the time. So that was honestly a lot, but highly recommend. Honestly gave me the wake-up call that I needed. The next thing you're gonna do is make a whole list of things you are no longer buying. So this is your no buy list. If you need some inspiration, some ideas, there's lots of YouTube videos about things I'm no longer buying. I am happy to make one. If you guys want to see it, let me know. But by doing these evaluations before, you probably will already have a bit of, an inkling about the things you no longer need or are no longer worthy to you. Like maybe you have thousands of shirts and jeans, so that will go on that list. Maybe you've realized that you've consistently been buying new foundations, even though you have one that you love and is like your trustworthy product, but you keep trying new ones. Like maybe that would go on your list. And then you're allowed to buy a new one when you run out of it. That is one additional rule I gave myself, to not purchase items when I still have them. So if I already have a shampoo and it hasn't run out yet, I'm not going to buy a new one. And once it runs out, I can buy the one that I want. So again, make a whole list of things you are no longer going to buy. It's just going to give you some good healthy lines and boundaries, and that is always a good thing. Another very important one is to have strong money goals. That's going to help you because you're going to feel like there's a reason for you doing all of this and limiting yourself and, creating new habits. That's not always easy. So it gives you a reason to do all of that, to go through all of that, and it makes it worthy, right? If you've never really properly researched finances, you don't invest, you don't really know what you're doing. I've been there, trust me. Then your first money goal should be building an emergency fund. That is basically a savings account with money in it for emergencies only. So I went through all of that in my last video again. But after you've achieved that, maybe your goal is to pay off your debt in a certain amount of time, or save enough money for a down payment on a house, or invest a certain amount of money. That's really, really going to help you so much. And it's going to keep you motivated as well, which is very important. Another thing that we've already touched on a little bit is tracking your money, budgeting. That is so helpful because you actually see where your money goes consistently every single month, and then you can adjust it. So maybe one month you realize you spent way too much money on something, so it's something to be aware of for next month. And another thing, when you're tracking your money, I can't even explain to you how satisfying it is to see the percentage of how much you put aside and save increase. Like, it's almost like a game and a challenge for you to keep increasing it. And then on the months where I do spend a little bit more, I'm like, why did I do that? I could put all that money I wasted on these pants that I don't even care about anymore, that I didn't even remember I bought, on my savings, on investing, on whatever. Like, it is so much more meaningful. It makes you feel so much better. So that's another amazing benefit of tracking your money and having a budget. This next one is honestly a game changer, I think. I think this is maybe the best tip in this video. It's to have a smart wish list. Now you need to listen to me very carefully, okay? Because you can do this wrong. You can just create a wish list, put all the things that you want in there, and then consume more because of the wish list. So we're not doing that, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna write down the item you want. So let's say you really want or need a new winter jacket. So you would write winter jacket, and then you're gonna write the amount of money you're willing to pay for it. So this is a line that you're not going to cross, okay? It's the upper limit. And then you're going to give yourself a time limit also. So this time limit is for how long an item is on your wish list until you can buy it. So if you struggle with over-consuming, shopping kind of randomly, you're going to give yourself, let's say, 3 weeks or a month. I give myself 3 weeks. So I write down the item, I write down how much I'm willing to pay for it, and then I leave it there for 3 weeks. So I'm not going to buy it for 3 weeks. I'm not going to look at my wish list, okay? Once you write down your items, you put it away, you do not look at it. And then a lot of the time, if it's things I didn't actually need, I honestly forget about them. Or I go back to this wish list after 3 weeks and I'm like, I don't even want this anymore. So this is an amazing way to limit that random consumption that just comes out of nowhere. Obviously, if it's a need, then that's going to be different. If you don't have a winter jacket and you live somewhere cold, then, you're going to need it after 3 weeks. But it just eliminates those random little purchases that you didn't want or need that would later on sit in your closet, forgotten about, or collect dust. Once the 3 weeks are over and you still really, really want it, you've been thinking about it for 3 weeks, like it is a very strong want or a very strong need, then you're going to research it properly, okay? I used to not research what I would spend my money on at all. Like, I would just go into shops, buy something I would like. There was no planning involved whatsoever. But first of all, this helps you to find a good deal. A lot of the time you can find the same product by the same brand on a different website that has a better price or is discounted. I highly recommend using Google reverse image search. You just screenshot the item, reverse Google image search, and then you can find it on other websites that might have it for cheaper or might have a deal or a sale or whatever, or you get 10% off if you sign up. And it's also an amazing time for you to find an item that's actually really good quality that will last you a very long time. So you're investing into an item that you're gonna have for years instead of buying something randomly, not so good quality, and then you have to buy 10 of them in the span of 3 years, when you could have just had that one quality item for that amount of time, and it would end up being cheaper than you having to buy 10 of them or 5 of them or whatever. There's a quote that really woke me up a little bit. It's, "The poor man always buys twice." So again, research to find good deals and to buy quality. Another helpful little tip, if you just spend your money willy-nilly on anything and everything, is to ask yourself, how many hours do I have to work to afford this item? It's very eye-opening, because when you go into the shops just because you're bored or because you need to fill a void or whatever the reason is, and you see this jacket, you haven't researched it, you just see it, you like it, you want it, you buy it, to give yourself that reality check of how much did I actually have to work to afford this is crazy. Honestly, it really is. So that's another one you can add to your little toolbox. Next up, you're going to unsubscribe to these marketing emails, messages, whatever you're getting of deals, of new collections. unsubscribe to all of them. Okay, you do not need them. It's just gonna entice you to buy and to shop because it's a good sale, it's a good deal. No, again, we're buying things off of our wish list after it's been there for 3 weeks and we've done good research. So these emails are not helpful. They're doing the opposite, okay? Unsubscribe, delete, gone. Also, deleting shopping apps off your phone is huge. Like, I used to have a few of them on my phone, and when I was bored, I would just go on it and scroll and find something I liked or a few things I liked, and I would just buy it. And again, I did not need it. There was no thought behind it. I was just bored. So delete all of those. You can even block certain websites if you want to, if you really feel like you need to take extreme measures. You can do that. Another thing that really helped me is to break the habit of going into stores as like a habit or when I was bored. I used to do this a lot, especially when I first came to Denmark, because I didn't know a lot of people. I didn't have lots of like social things to do. So going to shops made me feel like I'm, with the people and I'm doing something social, but it was really bad for my wallet. So I had to break that habit. If you want to be really proactive, you can even create a little list of when I have a strong need to go into stores because I'm bored or I need excitement or whatever. These are the other things that I could do that would give me the same kind of feelings. One thing that really helped me is I would call a friend on FaceTime and I would go for a little walk, not to stores, just walk around and talk to my friend. Like, that gave me the same kind of excitement and it covered my social needs, and that was perfect. Easy and also free. I know this is not really like shopping related, but I feel like it's an expense where a lot of us overspend and it's a little pain point for a lot of us. So find other fun ways you can hang out with the people you love and not spend so much money, not go out for a drink or for a restaurant every single time. You can invite them to your place, make fun drinks together, make a nice dinner together. Also, some of my friends and I will like bring snacks from home or even a bottle of wine from home, and we'll go sit on a beach and have a drink and eat. You're still doing the same things, but it's way cheaper and you get to enjoy beautiful nature. If you don't have a beach, do it in a park, a forest, whatever. And then there are, of course, so many other activities. You can go on runs together, on just a walk. Honestly, I love meeting up with people and just walking and talking. I feel like the conversations are so much better and they flow nicer, I've noticed. It's obviously up to what you and your friends enjoy doing. So you can again make a list and suggest it to them. Be like, hey, I've noticed I overspend so much on all these drinks and dinners. I would still like to do that with you every once in a while, but it's just a little bit too much. So are you cool with like having some dinner at home or doing XYZ? And again, if this is valuable and important to you, if you're creating amazing memories with it, if you're doing things that are meaningful, you don't have to cut it out completely. You just find ways to limit it a little bit so that it doesn't like hurt your wallet and create other experiences that give you the same kind of feeling. The next one we really need to talk about is social media. Honestly, that was a huge one for me. I had a whole social media detox. I made a whole video about it. I'll link it down below. And that really helped me. I haven't been on TikTok in months. I also muted almost everyone. I have all my notifications off. I don't really see a lot of social media posts, so that really helped me with my spending. Obviously, seeing all these posts about what other people have can be enticing, seeing so many reels, TikToks, shorts, whatever, of people showing this new hot product that you absolutely need and it's life-changing. And a lot of the time when you buy it, it's just like any other cream or foundation. It's not really worth it. So if you don't want to go extreme and fully get off social media or, limit it a lot, then just being aware of that is really helpful. So just knowing that that is what happens. I do get enticed by these accounts. Maybe you can mute or unfollow some accounts that really make you want to buy stuff. That might be helpful, but at least being aware of it is huge. Last but certainly not least, being aware of lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. What that means is when you start to make more money, your expenses usually go up with it. So let's say you get a nice promotion and you can now afford a bigger apartment. So even though you don't need it, you can afford it, so you move. But then, your financial situation is the same because your spending went up the same as your earnings. So that is one thing to be aware of, because what you would ideally want is to have your spending kind of stay the same and your earnings rise, and then all that money you have left you can save towards your emergency fund, your investing, down payment on a house, etc. I've definitely noticed that with myself when I started making more money. I would just spend more because I had more available. So if there was a nice jacket or this expensive drink or coffee, I was like, I can afford it. Obviously, why wouldn't I? And it can creep up on you. So just be aware of that. Obviously, if your income goes up a lot, you can adjust your budget. That's totally fine. You just don't want your income and expenses to go up simultaneously. Because with all these financial videos that you're watching, you're obviously learning how to make more money. So that is an important thing to realize. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Let me know if you have any other tips that I didn't mention that really helped you, and if there's any other financial videos you want to see, please let me know and I'll gladly make them. And of course, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And again, check out my social media if you want to hang out more. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you very soon.